Night I look at you, I see the stars in your eyes, and I know it's true. I don't know what to do. Okay. Hello, you guys. This is Robert Ferguson. I'm a nutritionist, weight loss expert, researcher, scientist. We've done 3 evidence-based, clinically proven studies that proves the effectiveness or the efficacy of the diet-free life methodology. I've written some books, and I am on a mission as America's fat loss coach to get everybody educated. And I want to give a big shout out to a few people today. I'm just going to say this. Miss Brown, I'm glad you found what we're doing. This lady came on board, you guys. And she had known of me, had bought a book, had bought a program, been sitting in her house for a really long time. And then she saw that we have this program for women over the age of 40. So she reached out and I took her on as a client. And I'm so excited for her. Everybody moves at a different pace. Everyone has a whole different scenario that they're dealing with. But let me tell you, this is the biggest reduction in waistline I've seen in 25 years. She dropped 5 inches in her waist in 14 days. That's impressive. Like she's down about 10 pounds, and it's not like she's 400 pounds. And she feels amazing. And I can say that for a whole bunch of people. So thank you guys, those who I'm working with. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to help you. And for those of you who are done with dieting, reach out to us. If you're frustrated, you understand there's a struggle, something's just not right, reach out to us. Now, this is part 4 of 8 as I talk about the scale. And I'm sharing this information with you because we got to break the relationship with the scale. I mean, the scale is not your friend. And so we've talked about 3 different things as it pertains to the scale. And today I'm going to share number 4. Oh, and let me know where you're at. So if you're on YouTube, Facebook, like, comment, share. Let's get the word out, right? Let's help people because we care. We're not selling anything. This is about helping people, getting people educated. And I'm having my second cup of coffee, and I love coffee. What's up there, Diane? You're going to like what I'm about to talk about. You're going to like this. Okay. You don't want to tell a couple people. So I'm just waiting, couple extra seconds, minutes. And the reason why I was so pumped actually to share this one as part of number 4 is because one of my clients goes to her doctor, and her doctor, she had a lap band done years ago. So the doctor, they needed to remove it. And then the doctor quickly encourages her to get gastric bypass. And fortunately, I'm coaching her. So she gave me a call, and I've worked with many people with lap band, gastric bypass, various bariatric procedures. And never, ever is someone happy with getting it done. There's a lot of people who lie, but when you work with those people and you hear the horror stories, don't do it. There's another way. And like I told her, we're going to show them. She's already making a lot of progress. We're going to show them, and it's doctors, not all doctors, not all of you, because there's some awesome ones, Dr. David Pryor, dear friend of mine, awesome. Dr. Moshe Lewis, awesome. Dr. Bernadette Anderson, awesome. And I could go on and on and on. We've had quite a few physicians over the years endorse Diet-Free Life. Dr. Doug Melnick, longtime friend, former student, endorsed the methodology. He and his wife, both physicians. We've had over 20 physicians, actually 23, lose over 100 pounds. Dr. Bernadette she had the most weight loss. She dropped 165 pounds. So I respect physicians. I do. But they're a big part of the problem. Hear me on this. Like I told my client last night, I said, if you see your doctor, get me on the phone. Let me have a conversation with your physician. And let's just have you in the background, fly on the wall. I want you to listen in and hear the conversation that I have with the physician. Because physicians, not all of them A large majority of them do not have knowledge about weight loss, keeping the weight off, and living a lifestyle. A lot of them do. And many of them get really good at it because maybe it was a problem that they were experiencing and they solved it for themselves. And they're knowledgeable, and then they want to help others. But a lot of these physicians are quick to push you to do keto, intermittent fasting, and they just follow the fads. Trust me, they don't know, but there's a power that comes with the white coat. And we grow up looking up to the white coat, and we believe the white coat. We don't even question it. But unfortunately, most of them have absolutely no idea of what they're talking about when it comes to weight loss. So that being said, let me give you some background. Number one, we're all familiar with the BMI, the body mass index. Body mass index was created in 1833 and is still used today as a way to measure and to have people feeling frustrated and dejected because the BMI is not accurate. We know that. And it's not me waking up saying that. Call around, go to the universities, go to the big organizations. They all know that the BMI is not accurate, but it's a tool, a measurement used around the world to collect data. And unfortunately, part of that BMI, right, the equation is your weight. So you get on that scale from the time you're born, they track it, and then they give you feedback based on the scale. Well, that's a lie. In 1917, that's an interesting year because right before this time is when calories started to become a household name and people started counting calories. And that the credit for that really goes to Dr. Lulu Peters. She was the first one to come out with that. And she was a physician and she had some weight to lose. She never really won with weight loss, but it was one of the first diet books to ever hit like national bestseller. So shortly after that, the bathroom scale gets introduced. Now, we've had scales going back to the Egyptian days. They had scales before that, like over the counter when you're getting meat or bread or different things that you would buy. But then someone came up with the idea that you could have a scale in your home, in your bathroom. And that's when it began, getting on the scale. A way to measure and track whether or not you're making progress because everything was based on losing weight on the scale. They're not looking at body composition at this time. Fast forward 1980, the digital scale comes out. Then it starts getting, you can go, oh, I'm 180.2. I'm 140.7. And all that started happening. Now, between 1917, 1980, they were starting to look at body composition and understanding the importance of knowing how much of your weight is fat versus lean muscle, bone, etc. And so underwater testing became popular, but then they learned how they could use these devices using this thing called impedance. And you can step on your scale now, and it will give you an estimate of what your body fat percentage is. Now, the high level is the DEXA scan. It used to be the underwater tank where you would underwater method, hydrostatic method, where you would get in the water, exhale out, they drop you down, and then they can give you an estimate of your body fat percentage. That's still around, but the DEXA is number one. Now at Stay Healthy, we have come up with this amazing proprietary way of coming within 2% of the accuracy of the DEXA scan and telling you what your body fat is based on getting accurate measurements from you. So you'll learn more about that. We will make that available. But if you want, you can send a link. I can actually send you a link and you can online find out what your body fat percentage is using our formulation called the Body Fat Index. Okay. One more thing, and then I'm gonna bring it home. 74% of U.S. adults in the U.S. and the percentage is the same in Canada and in most parts in the world. 35% of the kids in the U.S., this is the most recent data from the CDC, are overweight or obese. The numbers keep rising. And part of the problem is the scale. And today I want to talk about physicians. As I talked about the BMI, these guys have no clue. Most of them, none. Not all. Let me keep saying that, but most of them. because they're going by the BMI. And some of them go by the BMI, but they really believe in the body fat percentage, but they don't take the time, or they don't have the time to educate you on it. So you leave still relying on your bathroom scale, which tells you nothing except for what you weigh that day. It doesn't tell you that if you're 200 pounds on the scale, that 100 of those pounds is water. It doesn't tell you how water can fluctuate in the body and the importance of drinking water so you stay hydrated, which means you hold less water. Otherwise, if you're not drinking enough water, your body will pull the water from the bread. It will pull the water from the beans. It will pull the water wherever it can get it, whatever you're eating, and hold it. So the next day, your weight is up on the scale, and now you feel like hell. You feel defeated. Nothing's working for you. Well, part of this goes back to the physicians, right? The word doctor literally means teacher. If you go back and look at the root meaning of the word doctor, it is to teach. So when it comes to weight loss, are they teaching? Here's my point. It could take 10 years for you to get through medical school, get the white coat, and now you have a practice, right? And in that 10 years of going to school, the average medical school does not offer nutrition education for these doctors. About 25% of medical schools offer some form of nutrition education. And on average, it's between 12 and 24 hours worth. So imagine you go to medical school. Just follow me on this. You go to medical school and you want to help people, because I believe most really want to help people. That's why they want to be a doctor. And part of helping someone is to teach someone. So they go to medical school and they're waiting to learn about nutrition, right? Because Hippocrates, he was very clear. All disease begins in the gut. Let thy food be thy medicine, and thy medicine be thy food. The doctor of the future will educate Benjamin Franklin. And it goes on and on and on, but it's not happening. Well, so let's say you go to school for 10 years. You're a doctor. You got 12 hours of training on nutrition. Your patient comes in and they ask a question. Their blood pressure's up. You kind of go over that, what those numbers mean. Their cholesterol's up. Their hemoglobin A1C is elevated. And you look at them and you say, well, what, and they can see in your eyes, they can feel in your energy that you want some type of help. And even though they have the power coat, the Superman, Superwoman coat on, they don't really have the right information to share with you. But they don't want to not be superhero. So whatever's popular, they end up sharing. Think about it. They say, start exercising, and it's always vague. Eat more fruits and vegetables, vague. Intermittent fasting could be a vague. The keto, I'm seeing a lot of people get good results, vague. Because there's so many other things they're not sharing. But what has happened, we've allowed the physician, who we respect, I get it. Again, I'm not beating them up. But we've allowed the superhero to reinforce the scale. And so that's why we have this relationship with the scale that we don't know how to break up with it. It's like being in a bad relationship, you guys. Okay? Even the bad relationships, the sex may be great. So they kind of stay in a relationship. The sex may be horrible, but financially, they need to stay in a relationship. Maybe they fall in love with the lifestyle. Relationships, man, there's pros and cons to them, You must take control of your personal health. You must be in charge. If you keep waiting on that scale to be your friend, it's going to be a long time. You want to get educated. So as I was sharing with some of our coaches, like I was talking to a few of them this morning, and I was just stressing to them the power of being a coach and how we can help so many people. As I mentioned, Miss Brown this morning, she finally came on board. She's not sitting back watching anymore. She see me do posts. Well, that makes sense. I'm thinking about it. And for whatever reason, she reached out, and now in 2 weeks, only two, think where we're going to be in like 3 months. Think about it. And part of the training is we got to break up with the scale. The scale is not good. It's not our friend. Now, we do want to keep it in our life. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you break up with you get a divorce and you got kids, and you probably don't even like your ex. But if you got kids, you got to figure out, you got to find common ground. So anyway, I think I made my point. So I'm just basically helping you realize that you will have people that support the scale. And that's part of the reasons why you give it a lot of credibility, to include your doctor using the scale as a way to assess whether or not you're healthy or not, right? Because the scale is tied to the BMI. Any questions? What's up, Rhonda? Amy Jackson's in the house. Diane. Okay, did I scare anybody off? I went over a little longer than I wanted to go, but I believe I made the point. And if I did not make the point, or maybe that was all new information to you, we got to share this with people. But you got to first share it with yourself. You must share it and believe it for yourself. Okay? And the last thing I would say is we have this thing called cognitive dissonance theory. And it's basically when a person's trapped. Like a smoker will say, you know what? I know smoking is unhealthy. Hey, can you give me a light? Like they do it even though, so it's like there's a disconnect. Well, that's the same thing with the scale. It happens sometimes. It's like, I know the scale's not right. You know, the scale, my waist is down. My glucose numbers are down. I feel good. My energy's there, but the scale, don't fall prey to that. Okay. All right, you guys. Thank you. Thank you. That's part 4. And I will follow up with part 5.